I'm meteorologist Dan Henry. Here's the very latest on what we have for the weather over the next couple days and how it's going to be impacted by Hurricane Irma. So the first thing I want to point your attention to is this trough that's centered over Florida right now. This frontal boundary is going to produce some scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, but that's not the only reason it's important. It's important because the mid-level steering flow will end up pushing Irma to the north and eventually away from its current west-northwest track, because the storm is going to interact with this frontal boundary as it draws closer to Florida. Current winds with Irma are 180 miles an hour, the pressure 921 millibars, movement to the west-northwest at a pretty swift 17 miles per hour. The center is currently near Hispaniola, but in about 3 days' time we expect it to be in the Straits of Florida. Puts it there by Sunday morning according to the very latest National Hurricane Center track. Notice the storm is still expected to be a strong Category 4, if not a Category 5 still by Sunday morning or late Saturday night as it draws near to the Florida Keys and to South Florida in general. And then notice that we expect the movement to quicken just a little bit, so that's good news for us. We don't expect flooding rain to be a big threat for us here in the Suncoast, as the storm should be moving well to the north of us by midday or late on Monday, with winds near 120 miles per hour still. So some weakening is generally expected, but not for a while, unfortunately, and we do expect strong major hurricane force impacts to South Florida. Now, whether those major hurricane force impacts extend to the Suncoast, we can't say for certain right now, but we urge everyone to prepare as if they are going to occur. So here's Irma on tropical satellite. There's another storm behind it, a recently named Hurricane Jose, also being steered by this area of high pressure. So it may follow a similar course as Irma off to the west and west-northwest, and it bears watching over the next 10 to 12 days. There's a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, as if the first two weren't enough, but Katia, as it is named, is expected to move toward Mexico. Here's a presentation of Irma on late Thursday morning here, again nearing the island of Hispaniola, conditions going downhill there. We hope the mountains of Hispaniola will act to weaken the storm somewhat. That's what the European model, the most reliable forecast model, shows. And we notice again by Saturday night and on into Sunday that northward hook, and potentially Irma taking a track fairly similar to Matthew right up the east coast of Florida, or it could, still move over the Suncoast. That's the bottom line, is the model uncertainty is still quite a bit 4 to 5 days out. Here's the GFS model showing a similar solution with the storm heading to our east, which of course would be great news for us here in the Suncoast, as the western side of the storm is the weaker side. And you might be wondering, so why are the tropics so active? Is this highly unusual? Well, the bottom line is that right now here in the middle of September, we are in the peak of hurricane season, and it is the time when we do expect the greatest amount of tropical activity. Your 7-day forecast then is greatly complicated by Irma, and we're watching it very closely as we head toward the weekend.